And we are back. Welcome to another episode of Drafters TV. I'm Ben Hauver, and today I'm here to tell you why newly acquired Houston Texans running back David Johnson is being undervalued in drafts. If you guys wouldn't mind, drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you know. While I'm on the subject of subscribing, if you subscribe to this channel and comment below with your thoughts on David Johnson as well as your Drafters Fantasy username, you will be entered into a giveaway for your chance to win a free ticket into the Best Ball Championship over on Drafters. Winners will be announced this coming Friday, and you can double your chances to win by following the same steps, commenting on my last video on the subject of handcuffing in fantasy with your thoughts and your Drafters username, and you will be entered twice into the Friday randomizer. Now, the case for David Johnson. The story of David Johnson ending up in Houston at all is one that begins with one of the most notorious trades in recent memory, a deal that sent top 5 NFL wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona in exchange for DJ and a second-round pick. Now, we've got an age 28 running back coming off of an extremely disappointing season, switching teams for the first time in his career, and so far it sounds like we have all the makings of a player that might be best served to fade on draft day. However, if there's one quality that we look for in a fantasy football running back that supersedes almost every other determining factor when we ask ourselves the question, should I draft this guy? It's having a guaranteed workload and one that we can easily project to be sizable. David Johnson has that. Over the past 2 years, Texans running backs have averaged 347.7 attempts and 71 targets per season. I think when we're trying to project those numbers out this year, we can safely divvy up that workload between the only 2 Texans running backs that should be a factor this year, the 2 DJs, David Johnson and Duke Johnson. Let's be generous and give Duke Johnson 90 attempts, which would be the most that he's had since his rookie year in 2015. That would still leave over 250 attempts for David Johnson on the ground, and seeing as they gave Carlos Hyde 245 touches last year, I think that 250 seems like an absolute given for DJ. And here's where the value really is. When it comes to the targets, I think a lot of people are quick to assume that Duke Johnson will just limit what David Johnson's utilization will be as a receiving back, and I think the complete opposite. These guys both entered the league in 2015, and over that span of 5 seasons, David Johnson has averaged 10.7 yards per catch, a full yard and a half higher than Duke Johnson over the same period of time, and David Johnson has only ever produced 1 season where he averaged under 10 yards per catch, a number that Duke Johnson himself has never been able to reach in the NFL. Then you factor in the 150 to 160 targets that have been vacated from this offense as a result of the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Yes, Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks, Kenny Stills, everybody's going to absorb some of that, but I don't see what's stopping David Johnson from having a 50-catch season. And when you combine that with the projection for roughly 250 attempts, we're talking about a guy who can realistically see 300 touches in one of the better offenses in the NFL, and he's available in the mid-4th round. I know what all of you David Johnson detractors out there are thinking. You're thinking, what I'm not accounting for is the possibility that David Johnson might be washed. That he averaged, a measly 3.7 yards per carry in what Kenyon Drake proved to be a very friendly running back scheme in Cliff Kingsbury's first year with the Cardinals. Hey, maybe that is true, but I believe what we need to do is separate what we may think personally from what the NFL team with the power to control the situation is telling us through their actions. You think that David Johnson is washed after the abysmal 2019 season that he had? Okay. Bill O'Brien doesn't. Bill O'Brien is both the head coach and the GM of the Texans. This isn't a situation where a team is bringing in a player that the coach won't want to use, i.e. Le'Veon Bell and the Jets. The Jets brought in Bell last year. Gase never seemed on board. Fast forward to 2020 and Bell's taking second-team reps behind Frank Gore, age 37, at Jets camp. Not going to happen in Houston. And while we're on the subject of Le'Veon Bell, the players going around David Johnson in drafts just make me want to draft him more. Le'Veon Bell, Melvin Gordon, Mark Ingram, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery. Those are the 5 running backs that David Johnson is sandwiched between in ADP. David Johnson should outtouch every player on that list and should also get a boost for being in one of the stronger offenses that any of these guys are attached to, giving him access to a higher ceiling when it comes to touchdowns. It's been 4 years since David Johnson finished as the RB1 overall in fantasy football in 2016. Over those 4 years, only one running back has posted a better season than DJ did that year, and his name was Christian McCaffrey, and he did it last year. I don't think David Johnson is going to finish as the RB1 overall, but I do think that largely we're discounting him a little bit too much for one bad year, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him finish as a back-end RB1, and I would be frankly shocked to see him finish any lower than his current ADP of running back 22. He is a pure draft day value. But what do you think? Let me know what you guys think about David Johnson this year in the comment section below, and don't forget to drop your drafters username in that same comment. Subscribe to this channel, and that way you will be automatically entered into a giveaway that I detailed at the top of the video. Winners will be announced on Friday. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you then.